viewers, my name's Kara. I'm your host for Tuesdays here on the Pagan Perspective, and this week we're talking about anger issues and paganism. So, happy October! We are approaching Samhain here in the Northern Hemisphere, which means in the Southern Hemisphere we are approaching Beltane. Happy fun times for all. Samhain and Halloween are some of my favorite holidays, or my favorite holiday. End of thought. Autumn is my favorite season, even though I don't like being cold. I love that in autumn, I love the color schemes. I love how warm the colors are while the air is getting cooler here in the Northern Hemisphere. It just feels very crisp and brisk to me, and we've been getting that on and off for the past few weeks here, and it's just like so cool and refreshing and wonderful, which actually goes along with this topic. I didn't plan on that. I was just giving a little update, but it really does speak to one of the ways that I deal with some of the times that I feel maybe not necessarily angry, but when I feel really frustrated and really overstressed about things. And I've been having a lot of those days recently because I just have a lot going on. I feel like I'm running around a lot. And then, of course, there's all this craziness happening in the world on a daily basis that can make us pretty angry, and I would say justifiably so. So the topic this week is actually from someone who says that they have anger issues and they've been practicing paganism for a really long time. And while they believe in being allowed to fight mentally or physically, I assume like when you're angry, they believe you should be able to fight in whatever way. I also believe that my gods and my practice help me keep control of it. And the idea is just about our views on anger issues and paganism. So, first major thing that I thought of when I read this that I wanted to point out is that I feel like there is a difference between having anger issues and being angry at a situation. Because all people can get angry at things, and for good reason, and not for good reason, but without having what we refer to as anger issues, quote unquote. I have a couple of friends who throughout my life have considered themselves to have anger issues, and what they mean by that is that they tend to be really extremely angry almost at the drop of a pin, like it doesn't take them very long at all. It's not a slow burn, whereas I am a slow burner. I am a ticking time bomb, one of those things where you can get a little bit annoyed, you can get agitated, you get frustrated, you get more and more and more, and then eventually it builds up and you kind of like burst. But my friends who have described themselves as having anger issues are more people for whom anger is their first response. It's the first emotion that they go to in any kind of negative situation. So I feel like there's a difference between having anger issues and having anger be like your number one main response to things, and being angry at situations. Like if something really unfair and, really frustrating happens in your life, you might get angry at it. You might be upset about it. You might be sad. You might be any number of things, right? I feel like there's a difference. That's the first thing I was pointing out. And I think there's a lot of things today that we are fully justified in being angry about in the world, and the way that people are treated and the way that people treat others. I think we are justified in being angry at those things. And the second point is that being practitioners of magic, we have the ability to change and channel and transform negative energies and transmute them into positive energies. Even not as practitioners of magic, people talk about this all the time, right? Use the anger, use the extreme emotion that you feel and channel it toward doing something about it, right? Toward fighting that problem. Like the questioner said, I feel like we should be able to fight. I'm not a huge fan of physical fighting. I'm not a huge fan of that kind of thing, but I am absolutely in favor of fighting for what you believe in, whether that's politically, personally, going out there and having the conversations that need to be had. signing the petitions, whatever, doing whatever it takes within your own community, within your own family, within your own relationships, fighting for the things that you feel you need to fight for and the things that you want to stand up for. Fighting for our little community here, fighting for my team, whatever it may be. So definitely that. We use the word fighting, although it's in a positive sense. It's an action step toward changing things we hope for the better and making change in the world that we want to see, transforming the world around us by our actions, which is what magic is. So that absolutely has to do with that. Our mundane and our magic lives can both be fighting for what we believe in. So yeah, we have many energy techniques in paganism, witchcraft, in the kind of work that people who watch this channel probably are interested in doing. If you're here, it's probably something that you do, that you're interested in, that you're interested in learning about if you don't currently do it. We have many, many energy techniques. We have crystals for healing certain things and for controlling or channeling, or I would say balancing certain energies. We have, certain scents and oils and ritual practices that will alter our consciousness to bring us back to a place of centeredness where we're not just rawr, I'm angry, but really channel that inner fire into yes, I'm angry and I feel justified in being angry about that because this situation is unjust or this situation is unfair, agitating, whatever it may be. I don't know, the kinds of things that people get angry about. Some people get angry about really big things. Some people get angry about really little things. It's all relative. We get angry at different things, you and I'm sure. So whatever it is, it's coming to that place of yes, but I am going to use that, or yes, and I am going to use that energy and channel it toward whatever I need to make happen to make this better. How am I going to fix this? Rather than just be, rawr, I'm angry, and wanting to punch people about it, actually doing something to create that positive change. And, again, that's not something that is exclusive to magic practitioners. That's something that everyone in the world can do. It's the power of our mind. It's the power of energy, which affects everybody, even if you don't know consciously that you're controlling it, even if you don't consciously refer to it as magic. These are powers and energies and systems and ideas that people use all over the world in all walks of life, all religions, all spiritualities, whatever. So these are things that we can do. Ways that I would say I personally work on stuff like that is I do have some favorite crystals that if I'm feeling okay, I want to use a crystal for this situation. I like smoky quartz for removing energy. I like black tourmaline, lots of the darker gray and black stones for sure. Or you might choose to work with a different stone for instead of the banishing negativity aspect for the infilling of positive energy. Or you might choose to use them in conjunction. So you use one to take away the negative energy and you use another one to replace it with the positive energy. Because if we're just taking away the negative, then we're leaving everything open and the first thing that happens fills that spot back up, which could be another negative experience. So you want to refill that space with a positive energy. So you might use a smoky quartz and a rose quartz. That's another one that I use for positive infill of self-love, universal love toward the world, sending love out toward the world, anything like that. I also just like to get out in nature, and this is where it comes back to what I was saying in the beginning, that I've had a lot of these over-stressful days. I don't have a lot of times where I feel like I get angry, quote unquote. I definitely do, but I just don't always think of them that way. Usually what people say to me when people observe me getting angry about things, what they're talking about is usually an instance where I'm really passionate about a subject, and so I get really upset when it's not treated well or when it's not being taken seriously, and things like that. So I get that way about paganism, I get that way about theater, I get that way about just anything that I am really passionate about, that I'm really invested in. And when I start going on rants about, like, it should be this way, this is what we should do, we should have this, we should be doing this, we can do this, why aren't we doing this, or, these people, they're not appreciating what is going on, they're not taking it seriously. And for me, as someone who takes it so seriously, that bothers me so much, because rawr, right? So usually when I'm getting angry and I'm ranting, it's something that I'm really passionate about. So that's the positive side of it. And 9 times out of 10, if I'm feeling really like frustrated, agitated, overstressed, overwhelmed, all of this, as soon as I step outside, especially if the wind is crisp and cool, like not cold, not like, oh my God, it's freezing, please let me go back inside. But if it's inside, I need a drink of water. But if it's like crisp and cool, that immediately feels refreshing, and I just inhale a nice deep breath of that cool, crisp air, and I immediately feel better. It's cooling down your energy, because I've gotten so fiery and passionate, and okay, we're going to cool it back down. And also, anytime that I step outside, or even during the day, or if I'm driving or I see it out the window, when I catch a glimpse of the moon, that is a huge thing for me. I was actually just talking to one of my friends about this in a group chat that we had this past weekend about a subject. I talked about the fact that when I catch a glimpse of the moon, it immediately pulls me back into a remembrance of why I'm here and what I'm doing. And so I can be, going throughout my day-to-day life, getting hectic and all over the place, and then I'll see the moon and I'll stop and just appreciate it for a moment and reconnect and remember, okay, this is bigger than me, this is bigger than us, this is bigger than whatever little stressor is bothering me that day, whatever big stressor is bothering me that day. I'm not saying that our problems don't matter. Of course they matter. They're important to us in our lives. And this is what I can tell myself when I'm in a positive place, right? When I'm in a neutral place even. When I'm in a negative place, when I'm sad, I think, all my problems don't matter and I'm so stupid for thinking them. No. And that's when you have to remind yourself you're only saying that because that's the way you feel at the moment. But in that moment, I remember reconnecting to the universe, reconnecting to the world, and like I said, the universe, multiverses, remembering that there are other things going on, there are other reasons that I'm here, and ultimately, everything is going to be okay. I am going to get through the day, I am going to keep doing my work, and as long as I keep doing the best that I can and spreading love everywhere that I go, whatever your purpose is, as long as we are doing that, we are doing what we're supposed to be doing, we are always on our path. And yeah, so those are some of the main ways that I really reconnect, grounding, is a big thing. And you can ground in a sense by connecting to the moon as well, even though it's the moon, it's not the earth. Same thing, there's a connection there, there's a reconnection, there is an energy wavelength there, if you will. So yeah, my views on anger issues and paganism, I totally agree that your pagan path and your practice, whatever it may be, because there's many, many options for the things we can do within our practice that help with this, I agree that there are things that help with anger issues, and we learn different ways to channel it, we learn different ways to transmute it and make it into something useful and not something that's just going to eat away at us and put us in a bad mood all the time. So I hope that helps. And I will see you all next week. I hope you're having a fantastic month and that you enjoy whichever holiday is coming up for you, whichever ones that you celebrate or acknowledge, and I will see you next time. Until then, don't forget to be awesome, blessed be, and goodbye.